안녕하세요. LJ 코인 뉴스입니다. 오늘은 왜 우리가 비트코인을 필요로 하는가에 관한 안드레아스 안토노풀로스의 팟캐스트 인터뷰 번역본입니다. 안드레아스 안토노풀로스는 코인베이스 CEO와 이더리움 창시자 탈릭 부테린조차 큰 영향을 받았다고 말한 비트코인 철학자입니다. 낡은 금융 시스템을 대체할 21세기형 화폐에 대한 이야기인데요. 내용 함께 들어보실까요?
Why do we need Bitcoin?
Because we're heading into the 21st century now with a system of money built in the 16th century and a system of banking and finance built in the early 20th century. And both of them are plagued by politics and fighting and restrictions, which are not suitable for the kinds of problems our planet is facing. So we've got these global markets, we've got this global community, we've got this global internet, and yet our money is fragmented and plagued by these petty considerations of nationalism and putting the flag and faces of old dead people on bits of paper. And the money system is controlled by governments in such a way as to promote nationalistic ideals rather than improve commerce, which is what money is supposed to do. And even while in the Western world, we kind of have the best forms of money and banking that money can buy, even those are horribly fragmented, slow, inefficient, and full of mistakes. But the truth is that that's the best. It gets depressingly bad from there on. So if you go to South America or Africa or even Southern Europe, if you go into Asia, the money systems get progressively more political, more about surveillance, more about control, less about commerce, and even more inefficient. And these systems exclude a huge number of people, counting in the billions, from the world economy. So why Bitcoin? Because the 21st century needs a 21st century system of internet money that is open, borderless, neutral, censorship resistant, immutable, and permissionless, that serves the needs of commerce for every person in this planet, no matter where they are, no matter who they are, anytime, anywhere. And that's Bitcoin.
So you get to travel the world, you get to speak to a lot of people, you get to understand what's going on in different parts of the world, different economies. As you said there, as you go to South America or Africa, as the economies are weaker, you see worse situations. Do you find it's easier to explain Bitcoin to people in these economies than, say, in places like the UK and Europe and America?
Absolutely. Yes. It's much easier to explain because a lot of the problems we see with money have a lot to do with moving money across borders. So borders are a very big thing in traditional money. And also the difficult politics of various repressive, dysfunctional, and corrupt governments, right? So if your government isn't repressive, corrupt, or dysfunctional, your money still is a giant surveillance system, but you don't notice the impact of that because it happens slowly. It erodes democracy, it erodes the institutions of popular will, it erodes a lot of those things, and it enables kind of a corrupt criminal activity at the highest levels within your society, but you don't notice those because they don't generally affect your day-to-day. In countries where those problems are much more in your face, the question why Bitcoin doesn't come up. Instead, the question becomes, how do I do Bitcoin and how quickly can I do it?
So that's very interesting because it's usually therefore a response to crisis or response to a situation you're already suffering with. Probably one of the reasons why it's difficult maybe in considered more successful Western economies, it's difficult to get people to consider Bitcoin beyond a personal financial gain, but beyond speculation. So how do you think we encourage people to take it more seriously in Western countries? Or do we have to accept that it might have to be at a time when there is a financial crisis that hits us here?
Well, I honestly don't think that we have to have people in Western countries take it more seriously. I think internet money is interesting to Western developed nations when it can do applications that can't be done with traditional systems. So when you talk about super fast, super secure, super private micropayments, then you can start doing things with with cryptocurrency that you can't do with traditional systems of money. And then it's interesting. It's interesting for gaming. It's interesting for new applications. You know, your autonomous vehicle that you want to have interact with an electricity charging station is not going to have a credit card of its own. And if it does, that would be a security nightmare. But it could have some Bitcoin of its own to do that kind of transaction. So you start seeing these 21st century applications that emerge that are not about crisis. They're about a new form of networked money. Until we really have kind of widespread adoption and the need for those applications, it really is, as you said, most of it, either a speculative curiosity, or for some people who are in the tech sector, it's a cool, elegant technology thing that they can get involved in and develop a career around, which I think is also a great motivator in developed nations.
이후로도 40분 동안 더 깊은 이야기를 안드레아스는 전했는데요. 여기까지가 핵심이고 그 이유는 자세한 사례들이었습니다. 그의 논리는 최근 트럼프가 비트코인을 금융 자유의 상징이자 미국의 민주주의를 지키는 전략적 자산으로 언급한 것과도 일맥상통하죠. 더 많은 해외 영상 번역본 올릴 예정이니 LJ 코인뉴스 구독, 좋아요 하시고 성공 투자하세요.